What truly makes a man fall in love? Is it beauty? Is it charm? Is it the way you laugh or the way you dress? No. Love, real, lasting love, goes far beyond just physical attraction. Men fall in love when they feel seen, when they feel safe, and when they feel deeply connected. And here's the truth. It's not about changing yourself to make a man love you. It's about being the kind of person who brings out the best in him naturally, effortlessly. Let me take you on a journey into the heart and mind of a man. Let me tell you a story. Sarah and Jake had been dating for a while. She was beautiful, confident, and charming, but something was missing. She noticed that Jake would often pull away, getting lost in his own thoughts. Instead of chasing or questioning, she did something different. She gave him space but stayed present. She didn't try to change him, she simply let him be. And when he was ready to talk, she listened. Not to respond, but to understand. One day, Jake looked at her and said, "I've never felt so safe with anyone before." That's when Sarah realized it wasn't about being the most exciting woman in his life, it was about being the one who made him feel at home. Men fall in love when they feel emotionally safe. This is one of the most fundamental truths about love, yet it is often misunderstood. Many people believe that men are primarily drawn to physical beauty, charm, or excitement. While these elements may create initial attraction, they do not build deep, lasting love. What truly makes a man fall in love is the sense of security he feels when he is with someone who accepts him completely without judgment or conditions. Emotional safety allows a man to open up, to be vulnerable, and to connect on a level that goes beyond the surface. In a world that constantly tells men to be strong, to suppress their emotions, and to never show weakness, love becomes a place where they can finally take off the armor. Society often pressures men to be providers, protectors, and problem solvers, leaving little room for emotional expression. Many grow up believing that showing feelings is a sign of weakness, leading them to shut down or put up walls. But when a man meets someone who makes him feel safe enough to express his true emotions without fear of being judged or dismissed, that is when he truly begins to fall in love. Emotional safety is built through trust, consistency, and genuine care. It's about creating a space where a man feels that he can be his true self, his happiest, his saddest, his most ambitious, or even his most insecure self without the fear of being criticized or rejected. It doesn't mean tolerating toxic behavior or allowing someone to remain emotionally distant. Instead, it means fostering an environment where honesty and openness are encouraged. When a man knows that he can share his fears, past mistakes, or insecurities without being met with ridicule, he begins to associate that person with comfort and belonging. One of the biggest barriers to emotional safety is judgment. Many men have experienced moments where they try to open up about something personal only to be met with criticism, advice they didn't ask for, or a response that made them feel weak. Over time, these experiences teach them to keep their emotions to themselves. But love flourishes in spaces where both people feel accepted, not fixed. A man doesn't want to feel like a project that needs improvement. He wants to feel like he is enough as he is and that his emotions are valid. When he senses that his feelings are understood rather than analyzed, he feels a deep connection that goes beyond physical attraction. Emotional safety also comes from consistency. It's not about grand gestures or occasional kindness. It's about reliability. If a man feels that he can only express his emotions on good days, but must hide them when things get tough, he won't fully open up. Love requires a foundation of stability, knowing that the person he trusts today will be the same person tomorrow. If he is met with understanding and patience consistently, he will begin to lower his guard, allowing love to grow. One of the most powerful ways to create emotional safety is through active listening. Many times people listen just to respond rather than to understand. But when a man feels truly heard, without interruptions, assumptions, or quick solutions, he feels safe. He feels like his voice matters. Simple gestures like making eye contact, nodding, or repeating back what he shared to show understanding create a bond that words alone cannot. It tells him, I see you, I hear you, and your feelings matter to me. Emotional safety doesn't mean always agreeing with someone or avoiding difficult conversations. It means handling disagreements in a way that reinforces love rather than fear. When conflict arises, a man who feels emotionally safe knows that the conversation won't lead to humiliation, punishment, or rejection. Instead, he trusts that even in difficult moments, love remains intact. It's in these moments of challenge that love is tested, and if emotional safety is present, it only grows stronger. Another essential part of emotional safety is allowing a man to express his emotions in his own way. Some men are comfortable talking about their feelings openly, while others may express them through actions rather than words. Sometimes a man might show his love by doing things rather than saying them. Instead of pressuring him to verbalize emotions in a specific way, creating an environment where he feels comfortable expressing himself in his own unique way helps build a deeper bond. Emotional safety is not about making a man dependent or allowing unhealthy emotional patterns. Instead, it's about being a source of reassurance in a world that often expects men to keep their emotions locked away. When a man realizes that he has found someone who allows him to be fully himself, without judgment, without fear, and without the pressure to be perfect, he doesn't just fall in love, he stays in love. Men fall in love when they feel understood. Understanding goes beyond simply listening to words. It is about truly seeing a person for who they are, beneath the surface. For many men, the world expects them to be strong, composed, and always in control. They are often conditioned from a young age to suppress emotions, to push through pain, and to solve problems rather than talk about them. Because of this, many men carry emotional burdens silently, not because they don't want to share, but because they don't always believe anyone will truly understand. When a man finds someone who makes him feel deeply understood, he experiences a level of emotional connection that is rare, and that connection is what makes him fall in love. Understanding a man means recognizing the emotions behind his actions, even when he struggles to express them. Sometimes, when a man is distant, quiet, or withdrawn, it is not because he doesn't care. It is often because he is processing something internally. Many men have been conditioned to believe that expressing vulnerability might make them appear weak or burdensome, so instead of talking, they retreat. When a person can recognize these moments without pressuring him for an immediate explanation, and instead provide a space where he feels safe to open up in his own time, that understanding becomes a powerful foundation for love. A man feels deeply connected to someone who doesn't just hear his words, but understands the emotions behind them. He doesn't always need solutions. Sometimes he just needs to be heard. Often people rush to fix problems instead of simply listening, but true understanding comes from being present, from allowing someone to express themselves without interruption, judgment, or an immediate attempt to correct or advise. When a man feels that he can share his thoughts and emotions without being dismissed or analyzed, he trusts that person with parts of himself that he may not share with anyone else. That trust leads to emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy leads to love. Understanding also means recognizing his dreams, his fears, and his insecurities without making him feel inadequate. Every person carries unspoken fears, the fear of failure, of not being enough, of disappointing those they care about. A man may not always voice these fears directly, but they exist beneath the surface. When he feels that someone truly sees these struggles and supports him without making him feel lesser, he forms a deep emotional attachment. It is not about fixing him or reassuring him with empty words. It is about standing beside him, reminding him that he is enough, and making him feel valued for who he already is. Love is not just about the good moments. It is about how people navigate the difficult ones. A man falls in love with someone who understands that he will have ups and downs, moments of strength and moments of doubt, times when he is confident and times when he questions himself. The person who can embrace all of these versions of him, who does not run when he struggles or criticize when he stumbles, is the person he will feel the deepest connection with. There is something profoundly powerful about being understood without having to explain every little detail. When a man feels like he can simply be, without putting on a facade, without pretending, without having to constantly prove himself, that is when he feels truly connected. This kind of connection is rare, and when he finds it, he holds on to it. True understanding also means recognizing that men express love in different ways. Some men use words while others express love through actions, through gestures, protection, support, or even small acts of service. When a man feels that his way of expressing love is recognized and appreciated, rather than compared to someone else's standard, he feels seen, he feels valued, and that feeling of being truly seen is what makes him fall in love. Men, like anyone else, want to feel that they are enough. They want to feel that who they are, at their core, is not just accepted, but cherished. The world tells them they need to be strong, successful, or constantly achieving to be worthy. But love is about finding someone who understands that worth is not measured by success, money, or status. It is measured by who they are beneath all of that. When a man feels understood, when he knows that someone sees him for more than what he does and instead values who he is, that is when he opens his heart. That is when he truly falls in love. Men fall in love when they feel respected. Respect is not just admiration for a man's accomplishments or his strengths. It is a deep acknowledgement of who he is at his core. It is about valuing his thoughts, his emotions, his efforts, and his individuality. A man can be attracted to beauty, but he falls in love with respect. It is what makes him feel significant, appreciated, and secure in a relationship. When a man feels genuinely respected, he feels empowered to love deeply, to commit wholeheartedly, and to be his best self. Respect in a relationship means listening to him without belittling his thoughts or dismissing his emotions. Many men grow up in environments where they are told to be tough, to figure things out on their own, and to always be strong. Because of this, when they do express their vulnerabilities, they do so carefully and often with hesitation. If in those moments a man is met with criticism, sarcasm, or indifference, he will retreat and build emotional walls. But when he feels that his thoughts and feelings are taken seriously, that they matter, and that they are valued, he forms a deep emotional connection. This connection is built not through control or dominance, but through mutual understanding and trust. A man needs to feel that his efforts, big or small, are noticed and appreciated. He may not always express love in words, but often he expresses it in actions by providing, protecting, fixing, or supporting. When these efforts are overlooked or taken for granted, he may feel unimportant or undervalued. But when his contributions are acknowledged and respected, he feels a strong sense of purpose in the relationship. It is not about grand gestures or constant praise, but about the simple act of recognizing what he brings to the table and showing gratitude for it. A simple thank you or a genuine acknowledgement of his hard work can mean more to a man than the most extravagant declaration of love. Respect also comes from allowing a man to lead in his own way without trying to control or change him. This does not mean blind submission or letting go of personal independence. It means trusting his ability to make decisions, respecting his judgment, and working together as partners rather than competitors. A man does not need someone to agree with him on everything, but he does need to feel that his opinions are valued. When he is constantly questioned, corrected, or made to feel as though he cannot be trusted with decisions, he may withdraw emotionally. However, when he feels that his thoughts and perspectives are genuinely heard and considered, he feels a sense of partnership and trust that deepens his emotional investment in the relationship. Boundaries also play a crucial role in respect. Just as a man should respect a woman's individuality, dreams, and space, he also needs to feel that his own boundaries are honored. If he expresses a need for space, time to process emotions, or the freedom to pursue his personal interests, and those needs are met with understanding rather than resistance, he feels respected. A man who knows that he can maintain his sense of self within a relationship will feel safer and more willing to commit fully. Respect is not about submission or superiority. It is about mutual appreciation. It is about recognizing strengths and weaknesses without using them against each other. A relationship built on respect does not involve constant power struggles or competition. It involves teamwork. When a man feels that he is seen as an equal partner, someone whose presence and contributions truly matter, he develops a love that is unshakable. Men do not fall in love simply because of attraction or shared interests. They fall in love when they find someone who respects them for who they are, someone who does not try to change them, who does not undermine their confidence, but instead lifts them up and believes in them. Respect fuels a man's desire to commit, to protect, to provide, and to love deeply. It makes him feel safe, strong, and valued. And when a man feels truly respected, he does not just stay in love, he thrives in love. Men fall in love with authenticity. In a world where people often feel pressured to present a perfect version of themselves, authenticity stands out. It is not about being flawless, saying the right things, or fitting into an ideal image. It is about being real, being true to oneself, and allowing someone to see both strengths and vulnerabilities without fear. Men do not fall in love with an act or an illusion. They fall in love when they feel they are experiencing someone's genuine self. When a man senses that he is with someone who is not pretending, not playing games, and not trying to impress for the sake of validation, he feels a deep connection that cannot be forced. Authenticity means expressing thoughts, emotions, and desires honestly. It does not mean always being agreeable or molding one's personality to fit what someone else wants. When a man is with someone who is unafraid to be themselves, it creates a sense of trust. He knows that what he sees is real and that he does not have to second-guess intentions. This trust forms the foundation of love because love cannot grow in an environment of pretense. A woman who is truly herself does not hide her quirks, passions, or beliefs to fit into an expectation. She speaks her mind, stands by her values, and embraces what makes her unique. This kind of confidence is deeply attractive because it signals security and self-acceptance. When a man sees that someone is comfortable in their own skin, it encourages him to be the same. It creates a space where both individuals can be fully themselves without the pressure of meeting unrealistic expectations. Authenticity also means embracing imperfections. No one is perfect, and attempting to appear flawless can create a sense of emotional distance. When someone is willing to be vulnerable, to admit mistakes, and to laugh at themselves, it makes them more relatable and human. Men, like anyone else, want to be with someone they can connect with on a real level. They do not need perfection, they need sincerity. The ability to acknowledge flaws without shame shows strength and self-awareness, which are far more attractive than a carefully crafted image. Pretending to be someone else, whether by suppressing opinions, avoiding personal truths, or altering behavior to gain approval, creates an unstable foundation for love. Over time, maintaining a false version of oneself becomes exhausting and unsustainable. Eventually, the truth comes out, and when it does, it can lead to confusion and disappointment. A man falls in love when he knows that what he sees today will be the same person he sees tomorrow, next year, and beyond. Stability and consistency are built through authenticity, not through shifting personalities to match expectations. Men are drawn to authenticity because it fosters emotional safety. When they know that someone is honest and genuine, they do not have to worry about hidden motives, manipulation, or insincerity. They can relax, open up, and build a connection based on mutual trust. Emotional intimacy thrives in an environment where both people feel they can be themselves without fear of rejection. A man falls in love when he feels that the connection is real, not just a performance designed to win affection. Authenticity also means expressing emotions honestly. Many people suppress their true feelings out of fear of being judged, but love cannot flourish in dishonesty. If something bothers them, they should say it. If they feel deeply about something, they should express it. Playing hard to get, creating unnecessary distance, or pretending not to care only confuses emotions. A man appreciates directness and sincerity because it eliminates guesswork and creates clarity. Relationships that thrive are those where both individuals feel safe enough to communicate openly without pretense. Another reason authenticity is so powerful is that it brings out the best in both people. When someone is unapologetically themselves, it inspires those around them to do the same. Men admire individuals who stand confidently in their truth because it reflects strength, independence, and self-respect. This energy is contagious and it creates a relationship dynamic based on mutual encouragement rather than insecurity. When a man sees someone embracing who they truly are, it gives him permission to do the same, deepening the bond between them. Authenticity is not about perfection, but about presence. It is about showing up fully as oneself, without hiding, without pretending, and without fear. A man does not fall in love with an illusion, he falls in love with the person behind it. When he feels that the person he is with is real, honest, and unwavering in their truth, he not only falls in love, but stays in love. Because nothing is more attractive than someone who is completely, unapologetically themselves. Men fall in love when they feel inspired to grow. Love is not just about comfort and companionship. It is about evolution, transformation, and becoming the best version of oneself. A man does not just fall for someone who makes him happy in the moment. He falls for someone who challenges him, encourages his ambitions, and supports his personal growth. This does not mean pressuring him to change or molding him into a specific ideal. Instead, it means creating an environment where he feels motivated to rise to his full potential, not because he is forced to, but because love naturally pushes him toward greatness. Inspiration in a relationship comes from mutual encouragement. A man is deeply drawn to someone who believes in him, who sees his potential, even when he struggles to see it himself. When he feels supported in his dreams, no matter how big or small, he develops a strong emotional connection. He wants to know that his partner sees his efforts, recognizes his aspirations, and genuinely cares about his success. This kind of emotional support fuels his confidence and makes him feel unstoppable. Knowing that someone is rooting for him, not just in words, but through actions, creates a bond that goes beyond temporary attraction. Growth also comes from being challenged in a healthy way. A man does not fall in love with someone who always agrees with him or never questions his decisions. He falls in love with someone who challenges his perspective, encourages him to think deeper, and pushes him to be better. This does not mean being confrontational or critical, but rather being someone who inspires reflection and positive change. When a man is with someone who holds high standards, who refuses to settle for mediocrity, and who leads by example, he naturally wants to rise to that level. Love becomes a force that makes him want to improve, to achieve, and to become more. One of the most powerful ways to inspire a man is by embodying personal growth. When he sees his partner continuously striving for their own goals, passions, and self-improvement, it influences him. Growth is contagious. When someone is driven, focused, and committed to becoming better, it sets a tone in the relationship that encourages both people to keep evolving. A man falls in love when he sees that his partner is not just waiting for life to happen, but actively shaping their own future. He admires that energy, that determination, and that mindset. It makes him want to be a part of that journey, not just as an observer, but as someone who contributes to that shared vision. Inspiration also comes from emotional strength. Life is unpredictable and challenges will always arise. A man deeply connects with someone who handles adversity with resilience, grace, and optimism. When he sees someone face difficulties without giving up, pushing forward despite setbacks, and maintaining faith in the future, he learns to do the same. This kind of emotional strength does not mean suppressing feelings or pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing growth over fear, solutions over excuses, and perseverance over defeat. When a man is in the presence of someone who radiates this kind of mindset, it naturally influences him to adopt a similar approach to life. Another way growth plays a role in love is through shared learning. A relationship is strongest when both people are expanding their knowledge, skills, and perspectives together. Whether it is learning new things, exploring new experiences, or evolving in emotional intelligence, growth should be a shared journey. A man falls in love when he feels that the relationship is not stagnant but continuously evolving. When there is curiosity, deep conversations, and a willingness to explore new ideas together, love deepens. A relationship that stays the same year after year without any growth eventually loses its depth. But when both partners are constantly learning, changing, and striving for more, the bond only strengthens. A man also feels deeply connected when he knows that his personal evolution is not just welcomed, but celebrated. Some people fear change, worrying that as their partner grows, they might grow apart. But love is about growing together, supporting each other's individual journeys while still maintaining a strong connection. When a man feels that he can become more without losing the relationship, he embraces that growth fully. He does not feel restricted or held back. Instead, he feels free to expand into the best version of himself. That freedom and encouragement make him love more deeply, knowing that his partner sees his true potential and supports his journey toward it. At its core, love is about transformation. A man does not just fall in love with someone who makes him comfortable. He falls in love with someone who makes him better, someone who brings out his strengths, who challenges him to rise above his weaknesses, and who inspires him to reach for more. Love should not be a place where dreams fade, where growth is stifled, or where comfort leads to complacency. It should be a place where both individuals push each other toward greatness, where they build a life filled with passion, purpose, and continuous evolution. When a man finds that kind of inspiration in someone, he does not just love them, he admires them, respects them, and cherishes them in a way that lasts a lifetime. Men fall in love when they feel emotionally safe. Emotional safety is the foundation of deep, lasting love because it allows a man to be vulnerable without fear of judgment, rejection, or ridicule. In a world where men are often expected to be strong, unemotional, and always in control, finding a space where they can express their true feelings is rare. When a man feels emotionally safe with someone, he lets down his guard, opens his heart, and allows himself to love fully. He does not just stay because of attraction or compatibility. He stays because he feels understood, accepted, and valued for who he truly is. Emotional safety means that a man can share his thoughts, worries, and insecurities without being criticized or dismissed. Many men grow up learning to suppress their emotions because they fear being seen as weak. They are taught to push through pain, to avoid complaining, and to solve problems without asking for help. Because of this, they often struggle to express deeper emotions. When they finally do, they need to know that they will not be met with sarcasm, impatience, or indifference. If a man feels that every time he opens up, his feelings are minimized or invalidated, he will stop sharing altogether. But when he feels that his emotions are valued and taken seriously, he begins to trust on a deeper level. This trust is what allows love to flourish. A man also feels emotionally safe when he knows that his mistakes will not be used against him. No one is perfect, and everyone has moments of failure, regret, or bad decisions. If a man feels that he has to be flawless to be loved, he will always keep parts of himself hidden. True emotional safety comes when he knows that he can be honest about his past, his struggles, and his fears without being judged or constantly reminded of his shortcomings. He wants to know that his mistakes do not define him in the eyes of the person he loves. This does not mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean allowing room for growth, learning, and change without holding past failures over his head. Consistency is another key factor in emotional safety. A man falls in love when he knows he can rely on someone emotionally. If he feels that one day he is loved and supported, but the next day he is met with coldness, withdrawal, or unpredictability, he will struggle to fully trust. Emotional stability is essential in building a deep connection. It does not mean never having disagreements or difficult moments, but it does mean maintaining a foundation of trust and reassurance even in challenging times. Love is not just about the good days. It is about how two people handle the difficult ones. When a man feels that his relationship is a steady place where he is valued regardless of circumstances, he feels safe enough to love deeply. Emotional safety is also built through patience and understanding. Sometimes a man may not have the words to express what he is feeling right away. He may need time to process emotions, to figure out what he truly wants to say, or to deal with internal struggles. When he is given that space without pressure, judgment, or ultimatums, he feels a sense of security. Rushing him to open up or demanding immediate emotional expression can have the opposite effect, causing him to shut down. But when he feels that he can move at his own pace, he becomes more willing to share and trust on a deeper level. Another important aspect of emotional safety is knowing that conflicts can be resolved without damage. Every relationship has disagreements, but how those disagreements are handled determines whether love grows or fades. If every argument turns into personal attacks, blame, or emotional withdrawal, a man will begin to feel unsafe. He needs to know that even in moments of frustration or misunderstanding, there is still respect, kindness, and a commitment to resolution rather than destruction. If feeling safe in a relationship does not mean never having conflicts, it means knowing that love will not be taken away just because of a difficult conversation. Emotional safety also comes from knowing that love is given freely, not based on conditions. If a man feels that he has to constantly prove his worth to receive affection, he will never fully relax into love. He needs to know that he is loved for who he is, not just for what he provides, what he achieves, or how well he meets expectations. The deepest love is one that says, I see you, I accept you, and I love you even when you struggle. When a man feels that kind of acceptance, he does not just fall in love, he stays in love. Emotional safety is what allows a man to be his true self without fear. It creates a relationship where he does not have to wear a mask, suppress his emotions, or constantly be on guard. When he knows that he can share his fears, his dreams, his doubts, and his weaknesses without losing love, he gives his heart fully. He loves with depth, loyalty, and trust because he knows that the person he is with is not just a partner, but a safe place in an unpredictable world. And in that kind of love, he finds not only connection, but true peace. So if you take away just one thing today, let it be this. You don't have to make a man love you. You just have to be the kind of person who brings out the best in him. Love is not about games. It's not about manipulation. It's about connection, about trust, about two people seeing each other, not just for their strengths, but for their vulnerabilities, and choosing to love anyway. Because men don't fall in love with perfection, they fall in love with presence. They fall in love with how you make them feel. And when you create a space where love can grow naturally, you won't have to chase it, it will come to you. So, be the woman who sees, be the woman who understands, be the woman who loves without fear,